Later, we'll be working on word problems, and it's helpful to know keywords when you're reading word problems. And what we're going to do here is going to help us be able to recognize those keywords and be able to make an equation from the word problem. This is just practice. We're not going to be doing word problems just yet, but understanding these keywords will make word problems a lot easier for you. Here, the first keyword here is increased. Increased. That means you add. So we have a number. We don't know what that number is, so we're going to call it x. And we're going to increase it by 3. So we're going to add 3 to it. So x plus 3. That's all that's saying. That's all that means. Here we have another keyword, which is decreased. That means subtraction. Increase means addition. Decrease means subtraction. So a number subtract or decrease by 7. So x is a number. We don't know what the number is, so we use x minus 7. Here we have 4 times a number. It's plain as it is. It's 4 times a number. So we don't know what the number is, so it's just going to be 4a. In algebra, we don't write 4 times a or 4 times a or 4 times a. When we want to say 4 times a, we just write the 4 and the variable together, 4a. Okay? So 4 times a number is 4a. The square root of a number. A radical, this is a radical symbol here. It's not a division sign, it's a radical symbol. And what the radical symbol tells you, or what the radical symbol is communicating, is that it wants you to find the square root of a number. So if I have a radical with a number inside the radical, that number is called the radicand. What the radical is telling me about the radicand is that it wants me to find the number that when I multiply it times itself twice gives me 4. The number that when I multiply it times itself twice gives me 4. Well, the number that I can multiply times itself 2 times is 2. That'll give me 4. 2 times 2. So that's the number. So my answer is going to be 2. Well, here they're telling me the square root of a number. Well, if I want to find the square root of something, I've got to use the radical. And I don't know what the number is, so I'm just going to put x under the radical. And that's showing that I'm going to find the square root of that radical, of that radicand. Whatever it is. I don't know what it is, so I've got to use the letter x. Okay. The square of a number. The square of the number is x to the second power. We don't know the number. If we didn't know the number, it would be 2 to the second power if that was the number. If the number was 4, it would be 4 to the second power. That would be the square of the number. What's 4 squared? What this means, what this little exponent means, is that I have to multiply 4 times itself twice. So that means 4 times 4. If the exponent would have been 3, that means that I've got to multiply 4 times itself 3 times. 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 is 64. Okay? So here they're telling us the square of a number. We don't know the number, so that's x squared. Okay? 2 times a number cubed. So it says 2 times, so 2 times a number. I don't know the number, so I'm going to call it x. Cubed. Cubed is just another way of saying it to the third power. Square is just another way of saying to the second power. Cubed is another way of saying it to the third power. Squared is another way of saying it to the second power. Saying to the second power. So if I say x squared, I'm saying x to the second power. If I say x cubed, I'm saying x to the third power. Got it? Okay. So these are all keywords, okay, that you're going to see in algebra that you should be familiar with, so that when you see them, you know how to put them into numbers. So here we got a long one. It says the square of a number times the fourth power of another number. So the square of a number, we don't know the number, x squared, times the fourth power of another number. So we're talking about two different numbers, so I'm going to use a different letter. And it's the fourth power, so I'm going to put 4 here. So x squared, the square of a number, times another number to the fourth power, so y to the fourth. And the fact that they're together means times. Even though I don't have a times symbol between them, the fact that they're together means that I'm going to multiply them. Alright, here's another long one. Here it says twice a number divided by 3 times another number. So we're talking about two different numbers, so we're going to use two different letters. So twice a number, that means 2 times a number, divided by 3 times another number, 3 times another number, 3b. That's my answer. Here I have the cube root of a number, okay, root. Root, we saw that word before, up here, root. Whenever you see root, you know that you're going to have this symbol there. So you might as well just write it. It says root, you know you're going to use this symbol. We don't know the number. We're going to call it x. And it says the cube root. Cube, remember I told you cube, cubed, cube, same thing, refers to the number 3. Okay? Cubed refers to the number 3. Okay. Here, you're not going to put the 3 in the exponent. You're going to put the 3 right here. What that means is that you're going to find a number that when you multiply it times itself 3 times, gives you the number inside the radical, which is called the radicand. Okay? So let's just say we knew that number. Let's just say that it was 8 and this was cubed. That means I'm going to find the number that when I multiply it times itself 3 times gives me 8. That number is 2, because this would equal 2. Because 2 times 2 times 2 equals 8. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. So my answer would be 8. Here they're saying find the cube root of a number. Well, I don't know what the number is, but I could write it in symbols, and I could say, well, I want to find the cube root of a number by putting the number inside the radical, and then putting a little 3 right above this radical. The 3 would be called the index. That's called the index of the radical. That number tells you how many times the root needs to be multiplied by itself to get the radicand. Okay, that's what this number tells you. If this would have been 4, then that means I need to find the number that when I multiply it times itself 4 times gives me whatever the radicand is. So let's just say the radicand was 16. So that means I need to find the index is 4. So that means that I need to find the number that when I multiply it times itself 4 times gives me 16. I believe it's 2. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. So the answer here would be 2, because 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 equals 16. Got it? I hope so. We'll look at that in more detail later on. It's not time yet for you to completely understand that. Okay. Here we have the product of 6 and a number. Product is the answer in a multiplication problem. Okay? So I know since it says product and it's the answer in a multiplication problem, I know that this multiplication is going to be involved here. So the product of 6 and a number. How do I get the product of 6 and a number? Well, I've got to multiply 6 times that number. Do I know what the number is? Nope. So I'm just going to put 6a. And that will give me the product. Okay? So my answer to this is 6a.